Hey, it's Jay, and today is Halloween! Not my favorite holiday, but still fun. So I thought today I would do a video on the 4 main monster archetypes found in literature. Now, the notes that I have, I got from my creative writing class my senior year of high school, I believe, and I was going to do a video on it last year, and I recorded it, and it was when I had short blue hair, but I just didn't have a lot of energy in it, and so I figured I would save it and refilm it for this year, so hopefully this will be better. So the 4 main types are zombies, werewolves, ghouls, ghosts, and vampires. The first kind is zombies. Now, different pop culture examples with zombies include Walking Dead, Warm Bodies, and Shaun of the Dead, along with a lot of others. I just can't think of names because I haven't seen them. But zombies are often associated with the apocalypse and widespread disease. There are large-scale deaths, and it changes how the survivors live, such as in The Walking Dead, where people have to make certain decisions and have to start fending for themselves in different ways than they would beforehand. 2 books that include zombies that I love are Skulduggery Pleasant, where there's not like a main character that's a zombie, but there's still zombies that happen, and Frankenstein by Mary Shelley, of course. The creation is not necessarily a zombie, but it's the closest to a zombie that, like, being to a zombie is the closest thing I can compare it to. Zombies show the strengths and weaknesses of humans as they have to face outrageous circumstances and decisions such as killing each other when the zombies turn. And like again in The Walking Dead, there are certain decisions that characters have to make about killing loved ones that have turned. Zombies are mindless creatures that can't think or process, and they are basically servants to their creators in certain stories, such as Skulduggery Pleasant. Different ways to become zombies include science, overstepping the boundaries, airborne pathogens, reanimated corpses, and radiation, along with witchcraft such as spells or potions. Zombies can also turn other people into zombies by biting or scratching them with saliva, or even without a clear explanation. Zombies symbolize various things, such as a reaction or critique to different scientific advancements, and people are scared that scientists have no self-control and they don't know when they should stop trying new things. Again, zombies are mindless. They symbolize mindless conformity to belief or crowd mentality, and mindless conformity to things or people that that might be found to be appalling. And there's the human fear of the dead, being undead, dead bodies, decomposition. It embodies the human fear of having dead tissue. They are also representative of the fear of dying. They're a reminder of our mortality, or the reminder of our mortality, and a reminder that we'll all return to the earth and the essence of which we were born. Classic zombies, they're made by witches, wizards, or shamans. They're brought to life by dark magic. They're loyal to their master and unquestioningly obedient. And Frankenstein, the story of the creation kind of broke the mold of the traditional zombie, and that the monster tried to become human, in such ways such as trying to get that father-son relationship with Dr. Frankenstein, as well as trying to read different literature pieces, trying to fall in love, and trying to experience relationships. The second kind of monster is ghosts and ghouls. Ooh. For this monster, I'm going to be referencing mostly the Harry Potter books because there are a lot of ghosts and poltergeists to discuss. Ghosts are trapped between life and death. Sometimes they may choose to come back if they feel like they have unfinished business, or there's no explanation as to how they are in existence. They are the physical embodiment of a soul or spirit of the deceased in physical manifestations. And descriptions in literature vary from thing to thing, such as an invisible presence, translucent or wispy figure, a solitary essence that haunts a particular location, object, or people associated with their life. Like in Harry Potter, the ghosts that come back, they can choose to come back by doing some kind of spell on an object that has a meaning to them, and after they die, they appear there. A poltergeist, the most famous one that I can think of, is Peeves the Poltergeist from Harry Potter. Now, poltergeist is from the German word polter, which means to make noise, and geist, which is ghost, so it's literally a nosy ghost, which is adorable, I think. They're also known as being troublemakers, jokesters, mischievous. They will sometimes possess the human body, but they're not demons. That's a whole different kind of supernatural creature. Famous stories they're from is Legend of Sleepy Hollow by Washington Irving, A Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens, Harry Potter, and there are probably a lot others I'm thinking of, like Poltergeist, the movie Poltergeist, and others that I can't think of off the top of my head. Different symbols for ghosts include the guilt of consequences, like in The Christmas Carol, where, what's Scrooge. I'm okay. Where Scrooge in The Christmas Carol, there are 3 ghosts that come to visit him, past, present, future, and each of them represents some kind of guilt about a part of his life, especially the present, or the future. They also symbolize the loss of innocence, the fear of the future possibilities, fear of death, temptation, fear of science and scientific advancements, and the way you become, or not you become, but the way ghosts are created in literature, is a humanoid eats flesh of humans, so basically cannibalism. You can cast a spell on an object like in Harry Potter, or you are just not able to move on from something. The third kind of creature I will be talking about is vampires. Now, when you think vampires, there should be 2 things that come to mind. One's Dracula, 2 is Twilight. I will be talking a lot about Twilight in the next 2 creatures. But vampires, they sustain themselves by drinking blood, and it's a very intimate exchange between vampire and prey. There are 8 different metaphors that vampires inhabit. The first being sexuality. They're young and beautiful, like Edward Cullen, and Bella just finds him so attractive, not just like how he looks physically with his cute face, but like his eyes, they change color based on if he's fed recently or not, and she found that intriguing. And it's an intimate bite that seduces the prey, because vampires are predators and they have to both look beautiful and seduce the person in order to get close to like bite their neck. Why am I going hoarse? Woo! Second thing they're metaphor for is abstinence. Sexual abstinence mostly, but also like drinking and stuff, because there's that shame, love, desire, and need to retain humanity that is so deeply enrooted in us that vampires, they contradict a lot of what makes you human, because they're no longer human. They also represent HIV and AIDS because just like HIV and AIDS, vampirism is spread through the bloodstream, sharing of blood, and other scientific reasons. Fourth is adolescent anxiety, because turning from a human to a vampire involves a lot of physical changes, a lot of physical bodily changes, which is reminiscent of puberty. And there's that feeling of uncertainty about your ability to adjust. Fifth is outsiderness. Vampires don't feel very connected to the human world anymore. As they feed on humans, they don't age and they're immortal. And so they feel inclined to, for the most part, keep vampirism a secret, because if you told someone, they would think you're crazy, or 2, if they did believe you, then you would be like hunted down and stuff. 6 is colonialism. This is reminiscent of colonialism because in both instances, lives are taken without consent. And different vampire clans will kind of deal with sort of politics and different individual agendas, such as with the Cullens and their friends in Denali who are like trying to be vegetarians, and what are their names? Aro and Marcus and Caius in Italy. The Volturi, they're kind of like the overlords, the vampires, and so there gets political there. 7th is economic power and domination. Because you are immortal, then you have a lot of time to get money and wealth and influence and territory. And the 8th and last one is doubt and despair. There's that relenting question of who am I? Am I really human? What does immortality imply? Am I inherently evil because of what I am? Or do I have the choice to be good even though I'm a monster? And Edward and several other characters in Twilight struggle a lot with that. And the 4th main supernatural creature in literature is werewolves. I'm going to be using the Twilight series again, especially Breaking Dawn, to discuss these because in Breaking Dawn there is the dual perspective between Bella and Jacob, her werewolf best friend, and Breaking Dawn goes kind of deeper into the pack's abilities and roots. Werewolves are lycanthropes, which is basically a human with the ability to shapeshift into a wolf or wolf-like creature. I can speak, I promise. There's also the Harry Potter series where there's Remus Lupin and Fenrir Greyback, where Fenrir he bit Remus when he was a kid, and he turns into an actual werewolf instead of just a wolf-like creature. Ways to be turned into a werewolf include being bitten by another werewolf, or genetics, or a curse. They're associated with the full moon, and they have superhuman strength, just like vampires. Shapeshifters are most notably mentioned in Native American tales, but different countries' folklores have various versions of how werewolves, and when you become a werewolf, such as in Italy, France, and Germany. You can turn into a werewolf on a certain Wednesday or Friday if you sleep outside on a summer night with a full moon shining on your face. Or you could have made a pact with the devil, or get cursed by a god or saints, or even like wearing a wolf skin or like a certain kind of belt can turn you into a werewolf when you wear it. Like there's an episode of this podcast I love called Lore. I'll put the links in the description to the episode on werewolves and vampires. Highly suggest it. They're amazing. Check it out. But Aaron Mahnke, the maker of the podcast, he talks about this one father-son pairing who had like a wolf pelt that would turn into werewolves when they were. Werewolves are, for the most part, vulnerable to only silver weapons, but that didn't appear in stories until like 19th century, so it's a fairly new concept. Werewolf metaphors include the savage side of humanity, or human nature, and that uncontrollable animal instinct that we all have buried deep within us, along with vengeance, desire, the protective side of humankind, belief in power that nature has over us, and the superstition of the full moon and it's having an ability to change your behavior. There's also that desire for power, and the feeling of alienation or isolation, and just like vampires, adolescent anxiety and physical changes like puberty. So if you liked this video, give it a thumbs up, and down in the comments tell me what your favorite monster archetype listed in this video was. And if you liked this video, then hit subscribe down below, and don't forget to ring the little bell so you get notified every time I upload. I upload every Wednesday and Saturday, and down below in the description are links to my social medias, including Twitter and Goodreads, and I will see you in another video. Thanks for watching, and happy Halloween! Bye!